Yes.
Mayor Wilson, Rich Raish,
Here.
Ruben,
Yes.
Courtney Goslin, Ed Bean,
Here.
Chris Ames,
He's sick. He's out.
Daniel Grayton,
Here.
Eric Weissman,
Eric has to miss tonight.
all right, Andre Green,
Here.
Kathleen Seward, Jesse Klingon, Suraj Razbani,
Here.
Courtney Koslow,
Here.
Rich Hadobresh,
Here.
and Hannah Bow.
Okay, thank you much. First item
9.
on our agenda is a vote to approve the meeting minutes from our March 2nd, 2026 SBC meeting. First, I'll open it up if anyone had any comments or corrections.
Move to accept as presented.
Excellent. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Daniel. I will pass it to you, Sean. For those who are just joining, we are voting on the March 2nd meeting minutes.
And
Sean, when you have a moment, you can ask for the vote.
Sean, for the records, I just admitted Mayor Wilson and Councillor Klingon.
All right. So add them to the roll and add them to the vote. If anyone else has been added here, just let me know and I'll add you after the people who've already been called in. So all 4, Emily?
Yes.
Mayor Wilson?
Yes.
Rich Raish?
Yes.
Ruben?
Yes.
Ed?
Yes.
Daniel?
Yes.
Andre?
Andre may have been frozen. Oh, unfrozen.
Yes.
Jesse? This
Yes.
is for meeting minutes, yeah. Suraj?
Yes.
Courtney?
Yes.
And Rich? H. All right.
Okay. We call this special meeting outside of our typical monthly cadence because there was a desire to review the PDP in advance of the school committee. I know that some of you have commented that the PDP was not circulated. It's still being worked on. So I think as we get to one of the items, I think it's fair for us to decide whether we feel adequate enough to take a vote or not, seeing that we haven't seen the document yet. So I'm just saying that as a preview. And I think let's let that conversation come to the end, but I think that it's a good one to have. That being said, we're still planning to meet in 2 weeks. Ultimately, for the design team to be able to submit the PDP, we need a vote from both the school committee and from the school building committee. So this is something that's required before the design team can submit this to the MSBA. With that disclaimer, Lisa, I will pass it on to you to walk through the business that we have today.
Very good. Do I need permission to share? It's not showing up on my...
If it's not showing, I will make you host, which should allow you to share. No?
Should show up. Oh, hold on. I'm looking for
Dan, I don't know if you're saying that you might be on mute if you're trying to.
Usually pops right up when you guys do that.
If you maximize the window, it may.
Yeah, that's what I just did.
It's not in between raise hand and more.
Oh, there it is. Just popped up on the bottom. There we go.
There we
now
go.
We're in business. Make sure I share my correct screen here. Screen one. There we go. Ooh, must be Monday. All right, we in business. Everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes, it's up.
Perfect. Thank you. All right. So just a quick review of the agenda items for tonight. I'm going to give a quick project review, schedule, we'll look at the work plan. We'll look at some of the upcoming community engagement events, review the finalized option evaluation matrix. PMA is going to share the preliminary budget, and then we'll vote for the preliminary options for further study in the PSR, and then we'll discuss the vote for the PDP submission. Right. Okay, so just a quick look at the overall project schedule as we come to the end of the PDP phase and we begin the PSR phase, which is the preferred schematic report. The PSR phase will need to be completed by the end of August so that we can submit to the MSBA for approval at their October board meeting. So that is actually an important date to hit so that we can get on their list for that approval and then keep working for the next phase schematic design. So here's where we are. Just a quick update. You've seen this a bunch of times now. We're finally towards the end of the PDP phase where we're assembling the report. A lot of the items, or just about every item in the report, is stuff that we've shared with the school building committee throughout our past meetings with, the evaluations, criterias, existing conditions, all of the educational data, and then as well as the preliminary evaluation of alternates. So all that stuff has been gathered. I actually worked on the appendix over the weekend, got a lot of those attachments all tied in and ready for assembly.
Lisa, sorry to interrupt you. Can you go back to the previous slide and give us an update of what happened in the recent school committee meetings?
Ooh, that one there I might need Bob for.
Okay, I was
or
there.
Andre.
Okay.
Rich.
In the meantime, Lisa, because I made you a host so that you could share, Courtney Goslin is as attendee.
Do I have to accept her?
Yeah, you can promote her to a panelist.
All right, let me see if I can.
Yeah, so we met a few times actually with the school committee. We had a sort of an introductory set of meetings to get them more familiar with the MSBA process. And then there were 2 formal readings of the educational plan and the space summary. Dr. Carmona led the presentation of the ed plan. And Bob Bell did the space summary. There's some pretty good discussion, getting the understanding of what the program is. There, I'll say as an observer, there's certainly a lot of enthusiasm from Dr. Carmona and his staff on the educational program. And I think the space summary, that's the basis for the sort of building massing here, is really starting to deliver on that vision of delivering educational programs in a neighborhood basis to make the big building as small as possible, and breaking it up into educational neighborhoods. If Andre or Dr. Carmona want to sort of add a little extra color there, that might be appropriate.
Sorry, I'm trying. Most of the work that is there is a combination of what we did with the community. So all we did is, got together with the team to build up a couple of ideas that, in my mind, seem to be very developmentally appropriate. And I think that the excitement is coming from different places. I know that Winter Hill families, the Winter Hill community, as well as the Brown staff, were really thankful for our full disclosure of what we understand the project to be. And I think the school committee did a very good job debating the complexity of the implications of the educational program. the question around the size, the question around also next steps, all that really resulted in a very rich conversation. And I agree with Rich that, is one thing that I felt that the school committee came to a realization of the larger implication for this decision. So overall, I think it has been a good process so far. There are a lot of questions that need to be answered in terms of how this will impact other questions around catchment areas and things of that nature. But I think for this early stage of the process, I think we are in a good place.
Fantastic. Thank you for the summary. I just wanted to put that in context for the work that we're doing and also the process so that everybody understands the other conversations that are happening. Thanks for the interruption, Lisa.
Nope. Thank you for the backup on that. Appreciate it. Okay, great. Okay, so I'm going to just take a quick look at the PSR work plan, what our next step in the process is. So this is just a draft, but we're going to continue our evaluation of the site, beginning with some investigative work. This will require us to do some borings and set up a monitoring well for the geoenvironmental and geotechnical recommendations for all the below grade site conditions. Then we'll take a deeper dive into the traffic and transportation and start to develop some potential solutions. Look at stormwater a little further. We actually have a meeting on Friday with our civil engineers and traffic consultants and the city engineers. So we look forward to progressing that into the next phase of the development of what we need to get done. Then we're going to continue to further develop the options for 115 Sycamore Street and then begin to look at some of the building systems, structure, site development for these options and review costs. We'll select the preferred solution. We'll start to finalize the space summary, develop sustainability goals, and establish a preliminary budget and schedule. And at our next SBC meeting, we'll start to talk a little bit more detail into some of these steps as they all start to cross mingle into each other, so that we can get towards that preferred solution. Any questions?
Just a clarification that will come with the notes. This PSR is the preferred schematic report. So the title there we need to just adjust.
Oops.
At the top there. So just if that was, hopefully it wasn't confusing anybody. It was just a leftover. So.
Yep, good pickup. I think I got a call in between me correcting the PSR and doing the rest and got distracted. So
no problem. I just wanted
no, good point.
Confused. Yeah,
appreciate that. Okay, and then looking at some of the community engagement events. So when we last met, we were about in the middle of our walk-in talks. We had 2 under our belt, and we had 2 more coming up. These walks were very informative. We have a list of comments that we've gathered from all 4 of these walks, which will help to guide us into the next stages of our design process. And then our next big community event is the community workshop on sustainability, which will be April 13th. So our team will start to prepare a presentation for this workshop. We'll present some ideas, some thoughts, and then we'll turn it into a discussion after that so we can hear what sustainable features are important to the community. And then we also have on April 16th, we're going to attend the SPS Parent of Young Children event. So we'll look at setting up a table there, maybe with some boards so that we can share any information that we have to date about the new school project to the parents. And then from there, we're just going to continue to work with the communications team and see what other events that we should be at. And then obviously in May, we're still scheduled to have our next workshop, which is on community programs. So any questions? Oh, okay, so with that, I am going to hand it over to Dan to talk about the evaluation criteria.
terrific. So Thank you very much for thinking about all of these different options. We have actually see on the screen 9 options, but of course we also are providing a base repair option. So 10 options to look at, which has been wonderful to investigate. They cross both sites, they cross both populations for the school, and then design options that vary beyond that. And you're familiar with those and have been asked to evaluate based on the criteria, which you also helped to develop. So really what we're doing here is starting to, in some ways, record how we're going about selecting among these options. And it provides some data, albeit social science data, that supports your decision making. So with that, we received and have on the next slide collated the thoughts on how to apply what are essentially 16 evaluation criteria across these 10 options. We received 10 surveys back. We're happy to continue to sort of gather those. But what you'll see just by squinting, you'll see how each of 8 respondents have sort of focused in on the things that they think are working the best for each of these options. The criteria are along the left-hand side, so the rows, and the options are across the columns. And what you'll see is that the darkest green shows the most promising aspects or criteria of each of the options, and the red the least promising. So what we have done is sort of tried to aggregate these. And the next slide will show sort of how this starts to look. So this is the evaluation criteria. Again, the options across the top, that's where they'll stay. And then the criteria in the rows. And this is taking the 8 results from the 8 people who provided the survey, and it takes an average for each of the data points. And so what you'll see is that if we were just to take a straight average, the outliers, literally on the margins in red and dark orange, those are the least favorable criteria versus options, and the lighter green and dark green are the most favorable. And if we average those out, we see that the highest scoring on a straight numbers basis is option 2B and option 4, which might have been 4B, except that there was no 4A. So these are the options for the larger population, the 925 student population, and both of these are at 115 Sycamore. We can look at this in a little bit more detail, but before that, if we look at the next slide, what you'll see is if we sort these based on the respondents, so basically rolling up for each respondent. So if we take respondent 1, that person had an average for the base repair option of 2.4 and so forth. So what you can see is that in terms of dark green and light green, in the center between 2A and 4, those are the ones that have the most favorable responses. And other than one respondent, number 8, that looked at base and a smaller addition renovation option as being very favorable. Most of the positive responses were between 2A and 4. Where those, when we look at that again, the average scores are the highest. Now, if we look at the next one, if we think about the 16 criteria, there was also some weighting that was done, and looking at, and it varies by respondent, but if we look across them, this is the half of the criteria that seemed most important. So impact on stakeholders, the watershed, also green space and the neighborhood, the educational benefits, whether there's disruption, whether there's environmental or traffic impacts. Those seem to be the most important. And on the next slide, then, if we just focus on those aspects, again, option 2B and option 4, which again are the Sycamore 925 options. One of the earlier ones that had the really south-facing orientation, and then a modification of that in 4. Those scored the highest. So if we just look at sort of the most important, and this is a little bit subjective, but the most important criteria, and looked at that, those 2 options still are weighing in with the highest scores. So, there are different ways of doing this. We can get more data. We can also, look at how we might weight these, but I think that this is a good first pass that plays back what we're seeing in the criteria and the evaluation that you have done. And that is a summary of where we are with that. Any questions? Nothing.
I want to thank those who did submit their data for this. I appreciate that, and it helped the team then come to this analysis.
Okay.
Very good. All right. So before we,
I have a quick question about, maybe I misunderstood. You were saying that you sorted out which of the various things that we ranked that were stacked up on the left, as to which ones were more or less important. I'm not sure if I understood that. How would we know that based on how we did the survey?
Yeah, so there was a column that had the criteria and the priority of that. So those were high, medium, or low. And so we were looking at the ones that generally looked higher. Now, we can resort this at any time, Rich, and look at how that...
Just to trade my ignorance, I didn't understand that column, so I didn't fill
Okay.
it in. So that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I mentioned that there's a social science aspect to this, and it can be you can do weighting of each one. Like this is you can add numbers to all of this and weight it, and there can be a lot of debate about it. This is sort of a first pass that has the evaluation that we've got so far, and we can keep looking at it. But I think it does give you a sense, especially if you look back at all 8 of them together, that there is there's some commonality. A couple of outliers, and you can see that at a glance, but there's a real commonality. So if you look at this, you can sort of see where the green sits. And you can also, from this, you can see, well, there are some people who were really trying to finesse, very carefully gradating things. And there were some, two of them that were like, okay, we just don't want to do that no matter what's going on there. And so, you see all dark green and all red, and little in between. Others are more refined, if you will, or gradated.
Also, just a reminder that the criteria that are in gray, which were, I think, 5 out of the 7 or 6 out of the 7 were the high priority criterias were from the criteria set from the CAG. So.
Rich.
Was there a lot of consensus among the ranking, low, medium, high, or was that sort of all over the map?
It was. It's a good question. It wasn't a consensus, I would say, but it was. I could map that for you, Rich.
Yeah, it might be interesting.
Sure,
Yeah.
and with the other Rich's comment, I hope that folks were paying attention to that, but and to Emily's point, if we want to update this with more data, happy to do that as well.
Yeah, now that I understand what I was supposed to do, I'd like to do it. It shouldn't take me more than a couple minutes.
Okay, that would be great. We'll update it.
Yeah.
I don't think it should probably stop where we are with progress, but we're happy to update it anytime. And if it's a useful tool, and we want to use this again as we progress, with the design and other decision making as we get down the road, we can certainly do that as well.
Yeah, we can look at a similar process when we do the PSR option.
Courtney has her hand
Yeah,
up.
Courtney Castle.
Sorry, I'm at a building energy conference. If I have some background noise, very relevant, going to lots of sessions on schools. It's fun. I just want to note though, I liked that weighted average, like priority thing. I did use that in mine. But it did seem like it didn't make that much of a difference. Like those two were coming up, whether you did it with weighted or not. So just from my opinion, if we are trying to eliminate some now, which I would like to do, I think we should start letting the design team just focus and not be distracted by all the options. For me, I like you said, Dan, you could update it so we have it and can see, but I would like, if we get to a vote, I would be ready to do it based on what we see today.
Yeah, yes, and we needed to do this work because the MSBA does encourage it, and it's also a good consensus building tool. And I believe the 4th item on Lisa's list was to vote, so we will get there. Yes, and.
Right. Before we do, Sean had worked on some of the preliminary budgets gathered from our cost estimator and hazmat and a few other things that he's pulled together based on MSBA. So I'll let PMA talk us through this.
Sure, thank you. So we have all the options listed here. Our straight code upgrade is listed as option 0, and then the option numbers run the same listing numbers as Perkins Eastman has been presenting. We used the estimate from PM&C, the third-party estimator, to come up with the construction costs. And on top of that, they have a consultant, Mabit, who is looking at the hazmat inside of the building and putting numbers to that. And we're also adding some costs for some additional site mitigation, which we think we may need. There's a potential for some buried buildings underneath this building and contaminated soils due to underground storage tanks and the like. So we're adding really just an allowance in there just to try to put a number on it as we move forward to make sure we have costs identified for that. On top of that, we do have some soft costs from the design team and some owner's contingencies that we add onto this list and come up with our estimates. So these numbers are really, really early, high-level estimates, and they're, we're still refining them. We made some adjustments today, and we're refining them up until PDP submission. But I think these numbers here are kind of ballpark where we think we're at this point. So they range from a code upgrade of the existing building of around $83 million all the way up to a new construction of the 900 and 125 student plus pre-K option, which runs up to about $193.5 million. I believe this was within kind of the range that was expected from the solicitations for the OPM and the designer. So these are kind of what we're running with when we submit these to the MSBA.
Rich?
Uh, Sean, just a correction on the option 0, student enrollment. There's no way that you could fit 690 students into the existing Winter Hill building. I think that's probably more like 450.
And I believe that that is a qualification for taking it off the table.
Yes, that is a good pickup. The enrollment options that we are required to submit to the MSBA are the approved options, which are the 690 and the 925. So as Emily has alluded to, as part of this, as we review an option for a code upgrade at Sycamore Street, it becomes pretty apparent that there is not enough square footage to fulfill the educational programming plan or the MSBA space summary requirements inside of that code upgrade.
All right. Any other questions? That moves us into our motions to approve the PDP preliminary design option evaluations as presented during this meeting, to move forward with the following design options to be further studied in the next phase, which is the preferred schematic report.
But Lisa, can I pause you for a moment? On our
Absolutely.
agenda, we have a another item, which is to vote which preliminary options to further study in the PSR phase before we get to this one.
Isn't that this one, or am I?
I believe this is it.
Okay. Perhaps I'm looking at a different agenda. Item D on our agenda says vote which preliminary options to further study in PSR phase.
Maybe it's just worded different here.
And item E
okay.
is vote to approve the PDP submission and all contents within.
Yeah, so that's this one here. I don't know if PMA wanted to speak to the wording of this. That might help.
Okay.
So this can be worded multiple ways. One option is to word it to eliminate options. Other option, another way is to just include which options you want to study for further evaluation. Oftentimes, the MSBA will come back with comments that require us to continue an option. If there's an option that was eliminated from consideration, the MSBA may look at it and say, we really want you to further study it or to include it for cost reasons. And we find that if there's a motion to eliminate it, sometimes there's confusion by the committee of whether or not they have to vote for reconsideration. So
okay.
if the motion is worded just to that, that it's the committee's desire to proceed with these options and these are the preferred options to further study in PSR. If the MSBA comes back and adds another option to it, there's likely no confusion of whether or not you have to re-vote an option that was previously eliminated.
Thank you for that clarification, Sean. Does that make sense to everyone? So basically,
yeah.
No. Okay, so
just 1 second, Lisa. Since
yep.
you're still host,
Yep.
got kicked out and is trying to rejoin. Can you promote him from attendee to panelist, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, so what this is an affirmation that we have reviewed the options and we're moving forward with the following ones that will be included in the PDP that will be studied in the PSR. And so we're listing here the 10 options that are there. To Sean's point, what some have done in the past have put motions to eliminate out. And what has become problematic, and Sean, correct me if I state this wrong, what has been problematic is if the MSBA then requires them to go back and put it back on. That elimination vote has been an issue because then the committee themselves needs to take another vote affirming that it will be studied. So this is way for us to acknowledge the different options, to acknowledge that they will be studied and submitted in the PDP. And then I think we can have a conversation about which ones we'd like to eliminate, but we wouldn't necessarily vote on that tonight. Sean, did I state that correctly?
I think that's correct. And it may be a little bit cautious on my side where it may not be an option, but I would just hate to have any confusion. So I think this is the better way to do it. But I'll be corrected if I'm incorrect on that. But yes, I think you stated it correctly.
Okay, Courtney Castle.
If we keep all of these options on, does that mean that Perkins Eastman and all of the team need to keep working and reviewing all of them? I imagine it does.
For the PDP, they need to put all of them in.
For the PSR.
We as a group can decide, and we as a group can give direction for them to study more of some more than others. In other words, we can.
So
I think it's.
I don't know. I haven't been through this process, so maybe I'm missing something. It doesn't seem to me to be too problematic if we had to vote. If the MSBA says no, please include option 3A also, and we vote to do that because MSBA told us we had to. I would prefer to send a clear message to the community that these are the ones that this process is leading us towards, and we're going to focus on these. These other ones exist. We might have to bring them back up, but we took them off the table. So I would like to vote to streamline this list.
So I just think I think you're correct in that if there are options that you no longer want to consider, changing the motion to remove those options from this vote would be the correct way to do it. For instance, if you did not want to move 5A and 5B, then the new motion would just eliminate options 5A and 5B from that. You vote from 2A, 2B, and so on and so forth. So I think as part of the discussion, you can discuss which options are the preferred options to be carried into further design for the PSR, which options are not, and then we can change the wording of the motion to eliminate the options to the will of the committee of which ones you want to send that message to the MSBA and to the community that you want further study in the PSR.
Let me put out a non-controversial thing. Could we as a group come to consensus that this should not be on Trump Field? That to me feels like a very straightforward thing. So that would, just to be clear, that would take out the A options. So option 1A, 2A, 3A, and 5A.
No.
It would.
No, did I do it wrong?
That's not.
It's okay.
That's not what you
5A
said.
and 5B are Trump.
Thank
The
you.
A's and B's and the SAD 4 that doesn't have an A or a B. Those are.
This is what
the
happens
size.
when I don't have the visuals in front of me.
I know.
So my apologies.
Do you want me
No,
to go
our
back
bad.
to the visual? Would that be helpful?
No. Lisa, I'm good.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
that's fine.
I think that the code update and the ad reno are also pretty much non-starters.
I think we have to continue to show the ad reno for cost reasons. I have that right, PMA? Nothing's changed with that?
They will likely, even if you take it off the table, which you could certainly do, and to Courtney's point, if you're trying to send a message towards the committee that we're not considering these, yes, but the MSBA will likely make you just estimate the code upgrade for a cost comparison standpoint and do the same with at least one ad reno option.
So yeah.
Councillor Klingon.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I didn't get to fill out the collection of the information, but I can concur that I agree with it. So the numbers that were brought out in terms of where we were headed, and I also would be, I would support a motion to eliminate as many options as we can. The table, I don't have the visual in front of me either, but I could certainly support taking Trump Field off the table.
Yeah, Lisa, I'm going to thank you for your comments. I'm going to backtrack. Can you go back to slide 8?
Slide 8? Yes.
Yes.
Doesn't let me do it by number. Why is that?
No worries.
There we go.
If you go back to the
Where's my numbers on this?
keep
Oh,
going,
it's
keep
11.
going.
Yep, 2, 9. There we go.
And so this has them all except for the base repair. Code upgrade, base repair.
So should I make a motion? Is that what?
Mayor Wilson has his hand up.
Mayor Wilson, yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Chair. Yeah, I'll say I've talked to a lot of people about this project and obviously serving on this body. I don't pick up on any real level of support for the Trump Field option. I certainly feel good, especially given what we heard here, that should the MSBA come back and say that they want to see an alternative site that could be added back in, but I don't see any harm in voting 5A and 5B off the island here.
Okay. Courtney, Gus?
I have more to say on other options, but I think also an easy one to remove now are 3A and 3B because we replaced them with 4. I think nobody really liked 3A and 3B, and 4 made it a lot better. I have another opinion as well, but those two seem to be ones that we might even get traction on now and then have a second conversation. I have other thoughts about size.
Okay, do you want to make your other comment?
I also think that the two larger, so for me, 2B and 4, which is like 4B, the 925 bigger buildings are consistent with where the evaluation came out, what the community at large through the CAG, not 100%, no one is gonna, not everybody is gonna approve the same thing, but it feels consistent with what is in the space plan, the educational plan to accomplish all of that. The school needs to be bigger. So I would like to vote to have a motion that we are moving forward to the MSBA options 2B and 4.
Okay. Suraj?
I have a quick question. So now if we are going to include all these options for the further study, will these criteria be further investigated and deep into? So that at this time, it just look like it's a very superficial thing that we are voting on because there is not enough evidential or uh, uh, experiential data available for these preliminary designs. So will there be further investigation and then digging deep into the criteria when we go further?
Yes, and that was what was outlined in Perkins Eastman slide 5 of what will happen between the PDP and the PSR. In my experience, we, and again, being on the other side as an architect, communities aren't so quick to eliminate options, and we will see options start to peel off after the PDP is submitted. I get the sense that this group is more eager to whittle down some options now. So I'm happy to entertain the conversation. But to your point, Suraj, yes, anyone that we decide to move forward with will get additional information and will be worked through. And school committee member Andre Green.
Yeah, thanks. I couldn't agree more with Courtney and at least in the abstract. I recognize I think we have to submit at least some options for 690. But I would support framing it in such a way as to make it abundantly clear that every time anybody has put this to a vote, the desire for the largest school has won. And so I think if we can frame this plan in a way that says, yes, we recognize we have to submit a 690 plan, but the community has made it clear through everybody assigned to this task that we prefer no 925, that would be great. I think in part because we don't, to Courtney's point, we have to just make this statement clear to the community because otherwise we're just going to keep spinning in circles.
That's fair. Rich Heidelbright.
I appreciate your position, Andre. Unfortunately, I can't exactly agree with you, but I think for today, for this meeting, maybe it's reasonable to propose deprioritizing options 1A, 1B, 3A, 3B, and 5A and 5B, and leave ourselves with the two options at 2 and 4, or one option at 4, really. Um, that seems to be a lot of direction to help out our colleagues who have to do all the hard work. Um, and it represents a stepwise positioning of us moving closer towards our ultimate goal.
Thank you, Rich. Other discussion?
To sort of summarize what we're hearing here is that for MSBA purposes, we will have to move forward with 0, the base repair and option, as well as the ad reno. We want to make the indication to the MSBA that the community wishes to take option 5 off of the table and allow them to push back if we have to put the alternate site back on the table. I think we can also say that we want to eliminate option 3 because 2 and 4 are preferable to 3. Then the only other question is where do we fall down on the 690 versus 920 at this point in time? To sort of Andre's and Courtney's point, do we want clarity for the community that we're pursuing or weighting the larger school? Or do we, to Rich H's point, back off on that position at this point in time? So is that the sense that I'm trying to formulate emotion here? I want to get the sense of the committee before doing so.
So if I were to recap your explanation, moving forward with 0, right, base case, 1B, because we have to include some type of ad reno in there, 2B, and 4. Did I capture that, Rich?
Yeah, the only question is sort of the Rich Heidelberg, Andre Green, do we signal 620 at 925 versus 690? So would we be mute to AB at this point or lean on B?
Okay, that's fair. School committee member Green.
Yeah, I don't think, and I may have just missed something. I don't think I fully understood why Rich H, other than compliance reasons, perhaps, wanted us to back off the same in 920. I was asking if he could possibly restate his argument. I just didn't follow it.
Rich, do you have a moment to respond?
Yeah, I am undecided on whether we should be building a big school or a smaller one to replace Winter Hill. But I think we can all agree that certain designs should be excluded at this point.
Thank you for clarifying. Councillor Clan?
Yeah, I hear Rich H's point to the extent that, typically as far as process goes, what would there really be to consider between the two sizes other than maybe some funds? try not to be quick to eliminate I'm definitely in the line of thinking of a school that will support 925 students. I'm trying to also, like Andre, understand why we would sort of hold off on that. And I'm trying to be diplomatic in some ways, but not really sure as far as signaling to the community why. I haven't really heard a decent argument as to why we should hold off. Yeah, that's all for now. I can say definitively that I've already stated a strong preference for the design of like the 2A, 2B. Not I don't want to say 2A because that's a smaller school, but 2B. Simply because, as I stated before, I went to this school, and I do think there's really something to be said about a psychological factor, having the classroom, the school itself, laid out in an entirely different direction. And then, of course, I could easily eliminate 5A and 5B now. So I'm open to anybody who wants to make a motion, entertain a motion. Don't want to, I just was really trying to hear out the 690 argument for reasons that I don't want to come off as so aggressive, but at the same time, I don't see any other real reason why we would keep that option in play. Okay.
Thank you. Courtney Kozlov.
So I will make a motion. I just want to make a statement first about this. I know I already said this, but reiterating, I think we don't even have a 4A because it was determined it wasn't worth the time. That's confusing to only show the 4. I think the Winter Hill community that I've spoken to does prefer 4 because it has the play space at grade level at the back at Evergreen and kind of pushes a green space there and adds more community green space versus a rooftop. So I really like 4. And I think at this point, if we keep the 690 going, it's spending time and capital of our community. There'll be people that are unhappy, but there'll also be a lot of people who are relieved to finally have a decision after all this time and move. Not a decision. We still have 2 options. There's still lots of design, lots of input, lots of great, exciting things that will come from this. But I think we need we've had a year and a half, 2 years, actually since 2023 and before talking about all this. So I would be really relieved. So I would like to put forward a motion that we vote to continue on studying 2B and 4A. We can keep 1A and 1B for the MSBA if we need to, but knowing that that's not at all what makes sense. So I make a motion that we vote to prioritize 2B and 4 while keeping 1A and 1B on the plan for the MSBA to evaluate.
Okay.
Just Madam Chair, did they say it was better if we said what to eliminate, or is this motion acceptable?
This motion is acceptable.
Okay, thank you.
With the provision that if the MSBA asks us to put one back on, you will need to vote to put one back on. But yes, this is acceptable.
We can have a snap vote.
Is there a second?
I think Andre already seconded.
Sorry. Oh, my apologies. Andre seconded. Okay. Any discussion?
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, do you mind repeating and clarifying exactly how the motion was stated?
Yes.
I believe it's move to approve the PDP preliminary design option evaluations as presented during the meeting and to move forward with the following options to the next phase, the PSR. The base code, the base repair code update, the add reno 1A and 1B, and new construction 2B and 4.
Sorry, not 1A. I thought 1A was the base.
Lisa, can you go to slide 17 so we can see the
1B.
words?
Yeah, I was trying to get that. Yep. Just a second.
1A is the 690
Add reno.
So I will happily walk through this here.
So we
okay.
probably have to reword this as we go.
Yeah, and there's a typo in the 3A1 and
oh yeah.
Okay. So let me motion to approve the PDP preliminary design option evaluations as presented during this meeting, and to move forward with the following design options to be further studied in the next phase, preferred schematic report, PSR. 1, the code upgrade base repair, that's option 0 that we've been talking about. 2, add reno, so that's options 1A and 1B. 1A is the 690 add reno. 1B is the 925 student add reno. 3, new construction. Options 2B, option 4.
Can I modify my motion? I meant to only say 1B. So I'd like to restate that everything you said, but we're putting forward the base repair 1B, 2B, and 4.
Okay, friendly amendment to the motion.
Andre needs a second.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Okay. Sean, I will ask you to call the vote.
Okay. So all 4. Emily.
Aye.
Mayor Wilson. Rich Raish.
Yes.
Ruben.
Yes.
Courtney G.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Daniel.
No.
Andre.
Yes.
Jesse.
Yes.
Suraj.
Yes, but I have a question. If that is the case, then we are totally eliminating the options of a smaller design.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll say yes.
Courtney K.
Yes.
And Rich H.
No.
Sean, Courtney Goslin has also joined the meeting.
Oh, I did not call her. I'm sorry,
No,
Courtney.
you called me. He called me.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Go
Stop
ahead.
jumping around on my screen. It's driving me crazy.
So 9-4, 2 against, and I didn't get one from Mayor Wilson, so I think he might. I'm not sure if he's still here. Oh,
I voted yes.
Oh, I didn't. I apologize.
Yeah, we
Okay.
didn't hear you because there was a mute on off thing.
Okay. So that would be 10-0.
So just to confirm the highlighted section, I think it's correct. I just want to make sure there's nothing I need to update in here.
No, we stated it exactly as worded.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay. We had a motion printed to vote to approve the PDP submission and all contents within. Lisa, I think you had
Yep, sorry, I advanced the wrong one.
No worries, no worries.
There we go. There we go.
At this point, I would like to take a moment of privilege and not call this vote since we have not seen the full PDP yet. Is the committee okay with that? Okay, I see some head nods.
There's just quick procedural question.
Yes.
Does not taking this vote today slow anything down?
Not really for this submission because we just have to notify the MSBA probably this week that we'll send the PDP report a week later. We're not trying to meet a board meeting for this one. It's more important for the PSR and the schematic design submission that we hit our dates so that we can get everything submitted before the board meetings, but there's no board meeting requirement for the PDP phase.
Okay, so what is the timeline for the PDP to be issued to the committee for review?
We can have it, I'd check with Bob, but I'm pretty sure we can have that over to you the end of this week.
Okay, so just to walk this through, if we receive it by the end of this week, that will give the committee a full week to review, and we can discuss on Monday, April 6th. Does that make sense? Okay. Courtney Kozlow.
I will not be available on the 6th. Are we allowed to vote like via email in advance if I read it, give it, or only if we're there?
I'm going to have Sean answer that. I think what I would probably say is that you can provide comments via email, but I don't believe that you can vote unless you're present at the meeting.
I'll double check and I can confirm offline, but I believe that is correct. I'm not sure that proxy voting is allowed.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's my understanding.
This one was more important. Thank you.
But I think what would be very helpful is if you do have comments on the PDP, please forward them, and we'll have the design team respond. Daniel, great.
So just so I'm clear, so on the slide, on the schedule slide, the date for submittal was March 31st. So just so we're clear, will we be submitting this late if we wait till the 6th, or was that date just a goal we had for ourselves, I guess is what I'm asking.
It is the date that we provided to the MSBA, and that date helps us keep on schedule for the PSR phase. But a week isn't gonna hurt us because the work will be done. It's just a matter of waiting for a vote to confirm its approval by the SBC. So we'll continue with our schedule as we keep moving.
Let me see if I can put this in context. So Daniel, there are very few flexible dates for the MSBA. This is the probably one and only. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Dan and Lisa, right?
Yes.
And Sean, for the other ones, if we don't make the date, that pushes us back in various meeting cycles, and so we need to be very diligent to make sure that that the other dates are hard dates. But for this first submission, there's no adverse implications for submitting this a week later.
As long as we let them know, we should be fine.
Yes, and we will let them know. And I think because Perkins Eastman has their direction of which options the committee would like to proceed with, they can just start with their work to continue that work right away, and we'll submit after the committee has a chance to review the full document and make comment and approve it on the meeting of the 6th.
Okay, I will check. There is a member of the public in the meeting, so I'd like to open it up for public comment.
Lisa, could you take down your screen?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Sorry.
This is why Ken's not allowed to go on vacation again.
Okay, I am not hearing anyone come forward. Oh.
I'm just allowing Ian to talk.
Yeah. Ian, if you would like to have public comment, you're free to.
I have no comment, just listening in. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Sean.
All right. Emily.
Yes.
Mayor Wilson.
Yes.
Rich Raish.
Yes.
Ruben.
Yes.
Courtney G.
Yes.
Ed.
Yes.
Daniel.
Yes.
Andre.
Yes.
Jesse.
Yes.
Suraj.
Yes.
Courtney K.
Yes.
Rich H.
Yes.
All right.
Excellent. Thank you all. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks all.
Thank you, everyone.